Donald Trump, known for his bold promises and business-first mindset, found himself in a very difficult position during the long and painful trade war with China, which had hurt not only global markets, but also American farmers, small businesses, and many regular workers across the country, especially those in manufacturing and farming towns that had voted strongly for him. This situation had turned into a huge challenge for Trump, because while he promised to be tough on China, the rising prices, higher tariffs, and growing fears of recession made many people nervous, and even some of his own supporters started to feel uncertain. Trump needed a win, something big and powerful, to show everyone, especially the American people and the business world, that his approach was working, that his America First strategy was not just about creating conflict, but also about delivering results, creating better trade deals, and protecting U.S. interests. So, Trump and his team began pushing hard to get a deal done, but it wasn't easy. China is a strong global power and was not willing to give in easily. They also had their pride and their economy to protect. Trump, using his style of pressure through tariffs and threats of more penalties, played a high-stakes game that many thought could fail. But behind the scenes, both sides knew that continuing the trade war could cause more damage than benefit. U.S. farmers were struggling to sell their crops, American companies were paying more for parts and materials, and Chinese factories were also suffering as orders dropped and supply chains weakened. Slowly, both sides returned to the negotiation table, trying to find common ground. Trump demanded that China agree to buy more American products, especially agricultural goods like soybeans and pork, which would help U.S. farmers immediately. He also wanted better protections for American companies, especially those working in technology. China, in return, asked for the U.S. to reduce the heavy tariffs that were making their products more expensive in American stores, and also wanted respect for their own economy and policies. After months of talks, false starts, and political drama, Trump finally announced what he called a major trade victory, a new agreement where the U.S. would lower some tariffs and China would increase its purchases of U.S. goods, plus promises to protect American business rights better than before. This announcement came at a perfect time politically for Trump, who was under pressure to show results, and immediately he celebrated the deal as proof that being tough gets results. He said the American economy would grow stronger because of it. Jobs would come back and farmers would sell more. He also claimed that no other president had ever stood up to China like he did, and now, finally, China was respecting the U.S. again. Many of Trump's supporters cheered this moment, saying it showed Trump as a fighter who never gives up and always puts the country first. Businesses also reacted with hope as the markets jumped and some companies began to plan for more stability and better profits. However, not everyone believed the deal was perfect. Some experts said the agreement was too vague, that it didn't fix all the deeper problems between the two countries, such as issues with technology, data privacy, and the way China supports its own companies unfairly. Others said the deal might only be temporary and that another round of problems could return later. Still, for Trump, it was a powerful story to tell. He had started a tough fight with the world's second-largest economy and walked away with a deal he could call a win. It helped him in rallies, where he proudly talked about making America stronger and smarter than ever before. He used the deal to show he was keeping his promises, helping workers, and defending U.S. businesses and farmers who had long felt ignored by past governments. Behind the scenes, many people had worked on the deal, including diplomats, trade experts, and negotiators who had to balance serious concerns, big numbers, and different systems. But in the end, it was Trump who got the spotlight, taking credit for pushing China to the table and walking away with what he called a strong victory. It was a moment that changed the tone of the trade war, at least for a while, and gave the world hope that two powerful countries could step back from economic conflict. While the future was still uncertain, and many parts of the deal would need to be watched closely, especially to see if both sides kept their promises. The day the deal was announced was a moment of celebration in the Trump camp. It gave the White House a boost, brought some calm to shaky markets, and let Trump tell the story of a president who went to battle for his country and returned with a victory. Whether history will remember it as a major turning point or just a pause in a longer struggle remains to be seen. But there is no doubt that this trade deal was a major moment in Trump's presidency, giving him a powerful message of success, strength, and leadership just when he needed it most.